All right, so we were talking about when we kind of feel like the kid's ready to make that jump, right? Or move
Yes.
up to, travel, competitive, or whatever one of the numerous names are. And we were sort of saying it's hard to know when they're ready, right? Like, do you
Right.
usually, is it based on like their technical ability? Is that where so when you think a kid's not ready, what are you feeling? Like, what are you seeing? What's your...
So when I'm saying maybe a child isn't ready, it's maybe not even grasping the baseline idea of what goes on the field.
Okay.
Kind of just where am I going with the ball type of either look on their face or maybe expressing it. And so I think that's the point where, I kind of feel, all right, let's stop, let's back up here, kind of look at the training session. Why, is it just that they're really not interested, or they have an issue, are interested, but just a point of confusion. So that's one thing.
Yeah. So just not
And
the understanding level. Yeah.
yeah, another thing though is, I feel like in practices or even scrimmaging the 3v3s that we have, they'll be okay with the ball. They'll have an understanding of, okay, I'm going to get the ball. What am I going to do with it? Kind of a plan of action of where the ball is going to go next.
Yep. Yep.
But I think, I can start to see some issues where they go in kind of in waves. They have confidence, they know what they're doing, but then all of a sudden they don't have the confidence, the ball is at their feet, and they're kind of questioning, what's my next step?
Do you not think that might just be a typical 7-year-old?
Yeah, right? But I think there's kids
I got some kids, honestly, I don't know what kid's going to show up each week. Some weeks I'm like, wow, the kid's like dynamite. And the next week he's tripping over his own shoes again. Like, I think it's one of the hardest things, right? I find at that age, and if you do as well, is consistency. Yeah. I have very few players that week in, week out are good or decent or can repeat week in, week out. My youngest daughter, my 8-year-old, she's like that. One week I'm like, wow, you were amazing out there. You were doing all the things we've been working on, and then the next week, I shake my head. People look at me like, oh, yeah, Coach John's daughter's having one today, and I'm just like, have you ever played this game?
Right.
I think a lot of that is just the age and the stage. Do you think though? Maybe it's the adults that are more concerned with the performance on the field than...
Oh, definitely. The child's out there having a ball, a complete ball.
And that to me, right? Like when we talk about this, because I personally, I don't see that there's much difference in what you're doing on your Saturdays with your 3v3 games, and you're basically running your own festival, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't see that there's really that much difference from that to what you're going to do. You're just doing it with some other clubs. They've got...
Yeah.
Unless there's this amazing like difference in level in talent, and even if there is, right, who cares? Like, I think we need to have a more of that kind of let's go enjoy it. So I would say like for me the metric or whatever would be, number one, asking that player, do you want to go do that? Because a lot of kids, regardless how good they are, they want to go do it, right? But then I'm sure you probably come across a few kids as well that maybe it's, like socially or maturity or whatever, maybe they don't want to go do it. So I think I would say it's more of a, do you want to go do that with this group of players and your friends versus, oh, well, you know what, then they're not good enough, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's just it's tricky.
I think a lot of my kids, at least, they're happy as a clam when they're on the individual level. They got their skills down, they're feeling great, their confidence is sky high. And then, there's a couple where once you get into the 3v3 setting, there's more pressure on them. They want to steer away. They don't want to do that. They want to stay at the individual training level, rather than be put in a pressure environment. Yeah.
So how do we make that less pressure? I guess is the question, right? Where's that pressure coming from? Is it from, doesn't sound like it's coming from you as a coach, having spoken to you for a while. Like, is it more from parents or?
Even maybe? At that age, and I hate to see that, because again, I just want to get the kids engaged. I want them to associate soccer with a happy feeling rather than, petrified or scared or angry. But yeah, at that age, I mean, I've had to, of course, speak to parents even at that age. Your child is 5 years old. Please don't scream at them on the field. This is, we are not playing the World Cup here. These are 3v3 little crusher scrimmages. So kind of bring them back down. But I think, I see it all the time too. I have parents getting their kids in the car after a 3v3 scrimmage saying, oh my God, you have to get more in the game. You have to be faster. And I can't wrap my head around that.
I think I've had a lot of discussions about that kind of stuff over the years. And I had a parent recently, talking to me about, I want you to be harder on her, and she's got to stop doing cartwheels. And I'm like, she's 5. I'm like,
right.
I said, my 8-year-old, I said, she still throws in the occasional cartwheel. I'm like, and I think that's where we start taking away the joy of the game, right? When it's, you gotta be hard on her and ride on the ball and like stop there. And I'm like, no, that's I've been doing it 10 years. That's a typical 5-year-old. Like that's normal.
Right.
We just need to embrace that, right? And then I suppose then the next thing becomes when you go to this, the next level and the festival, then the pressure gets ramped up even more, right? Because we're playing another team.
Right.
That's why I'm more of an advocate of a lot of that, more of the internal play, supplemented with a few outside events, right? Because at least we can. And then who knows what the other parents on the other teams are like, right?
Yeah, that's
at least
true.
In our own environment, we can control that better. So here's an idea for you that might help you out with the 3v3. Have you ever thought about setting up like a parent perimeter? So what we do with our games is we actually set out. So if I'm using a full-size field, I will purposely set the fields in the middle of the field, and then I'll put a line of cones down on the sideline of the field, and parents have to sit behind that that kind of perimeter, that rope. And what I find that does is they can still watch, but just by putting that distance of 20, 30 yards between them and the kids, it's like don't feed the animals at the zoo. It eliminates now what I find anyway. I mean, my parents are awesome now. I don't even have to do it. But what I found in the beginning was the parents would then think twice about shouting out stupid shit.
Right.
Or they would think twice about yelling at their kid on the field for a mistake or not being in the game, because it's like, oh, I got to yell this pretty loud and everyone's going to hear me, right?
Hear it.
Whereas when they're right on top of the field, it's very easy.
Right. Yeah.
That's something that we did.
We just implemented that. We just implemented that, I think, 2 seasons ago, because that's a great helpful reminder, I think, to parents. Exactly as you said, they're more conscious of what they're screaming out if every other parent is going to hear what comes out of their mouth. So it has definitely brought the I'll say pressure environment down from what it used to be. And I always tell parents too, you brought up the cartwheel. I have girls do that all the time. And I have to tell parents, but that's a happy feeling associated with that. If they were sitting in the corner crying hysterically, yes, that's something we should, identify right here. But they're cartwheeling. They're happy. That's just how they think. 1 minute it's soccer and 1 minute it's gymnastics. So
it's
as
almost
long as
like,
we're
hey,
not
it's almost like, Jennifer, while you do that cartwheel, can you keep an eye on the field and see, see
yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, I know. I always start the practice with like a few non-soccer related questions to kind of just get the energy all out there. Like, who had waffles for breakfast? What'd you do yesterday? Just that. And then it's like, okay, now that that's out, we can see clearly and kind of,
Do you guys have that chicken and waffles there in New Jersey? Is that a thing?
I personally haven't had it, but yeah, that's a thing. I've seen it
still
on
trying to wrap my head around that.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if I could provide more color around.
All right. I didn't know if that was a thing there. So I think really, back to the original point, right? Of when I wish it was more that, there wasn't this jump in level, right? And it was like a big thing to go play. Like I personally think that we should be trying to, every kid should be ready for that, right? If they're ready for it, they want to go. I think we should be trying to find a way, especially we were talking 7 years old, right? At 7 years old, if we could provide a way for every kid within our club or our program to go do that and just reduce this, this stigma that is a big jump up and it is a level, and just be like, no, it's just part of our program. So we play internally, and then once a month, everyone, all of us, we all go do this.
Yeah.
And really the only difference between doing it internally is the experience of we get to go somewhere else, meet other kids, play other kids, right? See other kids in a different uniform. And, I think that the thing it does, right, is brings together those kids that are now, the only people I know here are my teammates.
Exactly.
So I think if there's a way we could not make it where it's move away from this thing where, the adults, the parents, and even us as coaches are like, is he ready?
Yeah.
And just be like, no, it's just part of our program. We're going to go do it. And hey, if you suck at our internal games on Saturday, so be it. If you suck there, doesn't matter. Our job is to try and help you be better in both environments.
Yeah.
And I think if we don't ever give them that opportunity to go do it, then they'll never get better at it, right?
More stepping stones. That makes sense.
Instead of more hurdles to jump, just more variety, right? So maybe that's something in the program, right, that you could do is just, I don't know how it's set up or structured with how you're allowed to take teams and players. Really, really try and, if it is possible and you have like an open roster thing where you can just bring, it might be just something that you offer to all the kids, right? Like, so here's our program. We got our training twice a week. We've got our, our internal, our 3v3 little festival or game days, whatever you want to call it, that we run. Yeah. And then once a month, we go to this festival, this one, and anybody who wants to go is invited. And we'll put together the teams.
Yeah.
And just is really an extension of the good stuff you're doing on the Saturdays internally.
Right.
I'd love to just see more people doing that together, even if it was 2 clubs, right? So here.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
And then we get into the whole, collaboration, right, and levels, and it's, But no, I would, the more, if you're talking about 14-year-olds, it's different, right? 7-year-olds, we really need to give more opportunity, more, opportunity to play in those different environments. And I know what you're saying. It's hard to watch kids struggle, right?
Yeah.
And I think as a parent, it's hard. And as a coach, it's hard, right? Because, as a coach, I think we've got that kind of, there's 2 things heaped on us, right? Is number one, I think especially if you're teaching young kids, right? You do get attached to those kids, and you feel like you feel for them too.
Yes.
But then you also, it's like, oh shit, I'm being judged on this too. This is a
Yes.
reflection upon me as how good a coach I am, right? When
Right.
really, is it? Is it when you've seen a kid once a week for a little while? There's only so much
That's
you're
true.
going to be able to do. So I think that's, as long as they are, I think giving them opportunity is more important than only taking 5 good kids and you looking good.
Yeah.
That's my
Definitely.
take on
Yeah.
it.
And I also, I think about, okay, if I had a team, I would be one coach and I would have, I don't know, say 15 kids at this point or, whatever. But, you know, I have right now, over 40 or however many. So it's like, okay, I definitely want to keep growing this program, but I don't think I can fully attach myself to all, I don't know, 50, 60 kids. And again, to your point, it is one day a week of training, actual technical dribbling skill of the week. So I'm getting one shot a week to hold their attention for an hour. And then Saturday, it's okay, let's take what we learned Wednesday, put it to work on Saturday. So sure, I wish I had more time because then I can really drill it into them. Hey, let's spend 2 days. But, I had a parent once tell me, and this was years ago, she said, this is like doing math. Do you think my
I was just about
kindergarten,
to say to you, do you think
right,
your kid would be any good if they did math for 1 hour a week?
right. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that stuck with me. I always remembered that, but yeah, it's very true.
And yeah, I mean, if all the player is doing is coming and spending time with the ball 1 hour a week, it's very
Right.
limited even what you can do in developing their technical ability in 1 hour a week. And
Yeah.
I think, parents sometimes we don't understand that. Like the kids that are significantly better at these ages are just the ones that have spent more time with the ball. They weren't with a better coach. Like
Yeah.
you're limited what you can do in 1 hour. Like
Right.
but then how
Yeah.
many people are willing to commit to more hours, right? So
I
I think
know that gets into, right. 'Cause then at this age, they're trying all sports, they want to see what's best for them. So I'm competing against the softballs, dancing and gymnastics and, so
I'm glad they got the cartwheels down, so you're good.
yeah. So maybe gymnastics I don't have to compete with because
Was there any like activities or any like stuff like other than that you wanted to ideas on, or
I
what's the
think
thing you find the hardest to teach in your program?
um that's a tough one. I feel they're very excited to learn new skills. I can say that. They love the skill of the day. But it's really dribbling technique. They they're very obsessed, I guess, with how far can I kick my ball?
Right.
And I'm trying to say, great, that's however far you can kick it, awesome. But let's work on, controlling the ball, little dribbles, keeping it close to you. They want no part of that. They just want like a race or because we do a lot of games with the point system. So can I get a point if I can kick my ball farther than hers? So I think it's just trying to work on,
Could you not
I think,
use that? Could you not apply that system with the points to
oh, we have.
get?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have, but they're more, who could, and I always say, well, you're trying to say who could do it better with kicking it farther, but how about who can do it better, keeping control and all that. But so I feel like it's hard to keep their attention when you're, or just really on the dribbling technique, using both feet and that sort of things. They get stuck in their ways. They don't want to learn new techniques side to side. They just want to kick with their toe and that's it.
Maybe here. I mean, this is with I don't do a lot of technical skills work.
Okay.
But one thing you may want to look into, and I can't remember who, someone had a really good, I think it was the talent equation people. They had a
Okay.
really good thing on what was called interleaved practice. So
Okay.
instead of just working, and this makes a lot of sense, it's kind of working into more coaching with games. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of just working on, okay, we're just going to do dribbling now, is trying to create a activity where it combines
Okay.
dribbling, passing, receiving, and then maybe it finishes with, like, again, right? If the kids, if that's what they want to do and they like, how can we incorporate that into the activity and
Okay.
make it part, right? So what interleaving of skills kind of involves is, I said, instead of, all right, we're going to work for 10 minutes on dribbling, then we're going to work 10 minutes on passing, and then we're going to work 10 minutes on ball control. You kind of come up with almost like a little circuit, right? Where it's like, okay, so
Okay.
what I want you to do is I want you to dribble the ball from here to here, and I want you to touch it 5 times with each foot. Then I want you to make a pass. Then I want you to get the
Okay.
ball back, and then I want you to kick it as far as you can and go chase it. So there's kind of like that.
Okay.
Oh, I get that. So I get to do my big kick thing at the end.
Right.
Great. Okay, but you got to. I want you to do these other 2 things first. So now you kind of come up with this little activity where it's not. So it's basically like, how can you combine
Yeah.
3 or 4 skills in an activity rather than just, a blocked practice of just one.
Yes.
And sometimes
Okay.
I know that from what I remember from that video or podcast was that like interleave practice in pretty much every kind of learning situation yields better results than obviously just blocked practice. And they had like some good examples with like math, learning piano. So instead of just doing the one key, I guess doing scales and then doing one key and then doing a little bit of music. It was interesting. Like, it's challenging to kind of create those activities.
Right.
But that way, maybe that might help get them practicing those things you want, right? Without them getting bored of it, or
that's
maybe just trying to make more. When you do your dribbling, right? For example, you want to try and work on close control. Like, is there a way you could make that within a game, or make it more game-like or more competition-like, rather than just, I want you to dribble it from here to here and keep it close. Like I found there's really no incentive, right?
Yeah, that's
so
very true.
What I've done with, like, so what we do for trying to have our youngest players trying to keep the ball close to them, right, is we set out a perimeter.
Right.
Here you go, 1 second.
Sure.
See if I can share this with you. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
So here's I use this activity like over and over and over again. Like, I mean, and I use this with 5-year-olds all the way up to our 12-year-olds. So instead of it just being, okay, dribble the ball here to here, but keep it close, I find there's really no incentive, right? If I don't keep it close, there's no penalty, right?
Right. Okay.
So we just you can set up a square, a circle, whatever you want. You make that square or circle the size based on the number of players. So I've played this with 20 players. I've played it with 40. I've played it with 6, and their ability level. And you can either I always start it in partners. So I'll put two players, right? So they're right here, right? Number one and number one, they might be my two best players in the group. And number two and number two, they might be my newest, my beginner players. They're brand new. And basically all it is one, your partner has the ball. You don't have the ball.
Right.
And you keep it away from your partner. But you have to stay in the square. If you go out of the square, you give the ball to your partner. If your partner takes the ball from you, then you got to try and get it back, right? And whoever ends up with the ball at the end of 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever you decide, they score the point. So now there's actually there's a consequence to losing, to kicking it too far. Either the ball will go out of the square and you have to give it to your partner, or you kick it too far and your partner will take it from you.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. I see.
So just trying to, and then you can do change partners, right? So, okay, now number one, you're going to go play number two. Number three, you're going to play number four. You can vary where all the players start on the outside of the square.
Yeah.
You can I do lightning rounds. So it's like, okay, you got 10 seconds. That's it. You got 10 seconds to win the ball. Or I'll do a marathon round. Okay, this one, you got to keep it for 3 minutes, right?
Wow. Okay.
So with this one, it's such a simple activity. But now the interest level, you're teaching the technical skills, right, of dribbling. You're teaching them, they are going to find out themselves, right? So they will find out themselves that if I don't keep the ball close, there's a consequence. I'm going to lose it, and then I don't get my point.
Yeah.
So maybe, that's a way, possibly a way of give that one a go. I know the kids love that one. And I do that literally with our younger players. I do that every week.
Okay.
Every week. And I just make slight variations to it every week. So it's all right, everyone in the square, you know what game we're playing, right? Oh, yeah. Okay. You remember this one? Good. Okay, this week we're going to do it slightly different, though. Okay. And really, it might be the same as I did it 2 weeks before, and they don't even remember.
Okay.
But then what I find is, right, challenges. It kind of challenges me as well, right? To can I take that really simple, basic activity, and can I make it different, and can I make a change?
Yeah. Okay.
Not only for the kids, but for myself, right?
For you.
I'm like, oh my God, I coach this again.
Right.
Or I might just focus on a slightly different technical aspect that I want them to try within that activity.
Okay.
So I think trying to maybe find ways where you can add a little bit of opposition.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more game-like. Might help that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely try that. Okay.
It's funny because I don't have that they want to kick it a long way.
Really?
I don't know why. Maybe that's because we're still kind of, we've been on outdoors on the grass and they haven't cut the grass for a while, so they can't kick it too far.
Yeah.
I think also, one of our key messages when all the kids start is, you probably see me harp on this all the time, right? Is that you're not allowed to kick the ball away. You have to keep the ball. That's my number one for our young players, right? 5 and 6 year olds when they come into our program. That is pretty much, I tell her in a more kid friendly, that's the one thing that's going to piss me off.
Right.
If I see you kicking it away, and they will understand that I am displeased when I see that, and they'll understand that I'm very, very, very happy when I see them not kick the ball away and they try and keep it and do something.
Yeah. I think this past week, last week, I started, they like the point system. So I started saying, well, you know what's going to happen? Everyone's going to start with 5 points. And if I see you, every time I see you, kick the ball and it's not under control, you have to put down a finger, and you have to dribble the ball like that. So everyone's going to see the amount of points that you have left. And then when you get down to 0, you have to hold a number 0. you have to hold your 0. So everyone sees, 0 points. And I was going on with them and I said, you don't want other people. Everyone should have 5 points. You don't want to be going down each time I see you.
I hope they choose the number 1 point carefully.
Yeah. I haven't had an issue with that yet, but I have to say, once I started, because I've always done keep the points in your head. You don't want to brag, so just keep it to yourself. Once I started saying, no, you have to show your points for going down, I have to say there was a dramatic pause and a little bit better with ball
I think
control.
that's, again, right, the whole points thing is, I think for these younger age groups is fantastic, right? Because they're used to video games and games where everything has something. So I think assigning points is a great way to get them. It's kind of a constraint, right? A condition, a rule of the game that gets them focused on doing the behaviors and actions that you want with a reward to it too, right?
Right.
So in your game, it's almost like, oh, who's still got 5 up? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'll definitely try these. These are,
Yeah, remind me, drop me. I'll send you over a copy of that activity. I'll email it over to you.
Thank you.
You can give that a go.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to confess or get off your mind?
I think I'm good at this point. I really enjoyed this session, and it was great to talk through all of this with you. And now
I hope you're going to go and crush some people this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. This is our
just make sure you take
weekend.
Those top kids at 7, the 4v4, and go crush everyone.
Yeah.
So, no worries. Have a great weekend. I'll drop out that. Remind me. If I haven't sent it to you by the end of the day, just drop me an email and ask me for that 1v1 activity. I'll send it over to you, and then I'll be doing another few of these ongoing. So if there's anything you need help with, or you want to chat again, please feel free.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Make sure you got to get yourself on Twitter. You're missing.
I know. This is it. Now I got to get on Twitter.
Yeah, on the soccer Twitter world, it's
gotta have PJ help me. Yeah.
It's a unique place. So you should.
So I've heard. Yeah.
Cool.
I've heard.
It was nice chatting to you. Thanks for sharing those ideas. And
you too.
Do you have any games this weekend?
We have our last one tomorrow. Yep. Cool. Kind of sad about that. But
you're doing 3v3?
Yeah. Yep.
Here's an idea for you. Start your first 10 minutes if you can with a little 1v1 contest.
Okay. I'll do that.
Especially with the little ones. Like everyone, you only play for depending on how many kids you got, play for 2 minutes. Everyone plays everyone. 2 minute game quickly.
All right.
That way they will get the individual and then go into 3v3. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow anyway. So
okay.
Let me know how
I'll do the same.
All right, Steph. Take care. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you so much. You too. Bye-bye.